What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Swagcast. Today I have a 15-5 pro MMA fighter currently with Bellator in the middleweight division, a savage with a mullet, Aaron Jeffery. What's going on, Aaron? How we doing, big guy?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on. And so I first want to get into your last fight. Congrats on your latest win. Getting a win over a guy like Douglas Lima is no easy task. Can you kind of bring me through what the fight camp kind of looked like? According to Tapology, you fight out of like 7 different gyms. So I'm very curious to ask about what the fight camp looks like.
I don't fight out of different gyms. There's 2 main gyms that I train at. One here in Canada is Niagara Top Team, and the other is Killcliff down in Florida. I pretty much split my time like half and half between the 2 gyms now. Yeah, just those 2 gyms. No more than that, really.
Okay, you train at Killcliff? So you so you train with Kevin Lee.
I don't really train with him all that much, but I'm in the room.
Yeah, you're in the room with him. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I just actually had him on a couple weeks ago, so I just, it hit me in the head that, oh yeah, they're at the same gym. All right, so let's jump back early in your career. Do you remember like the moment you decided you wanted to pursue a career of fighting? Was it like a moment decision type thing, or was it something you always knew you were destined to do?
I would say neither one of those things. I never decided I was going to do it. I think I kind of just I decided to take some amateur fights just as like kind of like a sport to compete in while I was in university. And stuck with it, took a couple pro fights, and then before you know it, here we are like 12 years later, and I'm still doing it.
So that's why that's a wild statement because you went 6-0 as an amateur fighter. And it's something that you just picked up because you wanted to stay active. Did you have any combat experience before then? Like, did you train as a youth, the high school?
Not really. I trained a little bit in like a kind of a shitty little gym, but again, it was just for like something to do more than anything. I didn't really have goals of competing, and I never competed in anything before getting into MMA.
Okay, so let's talk about your amateur career a little bit. You went 6-0 as an AMI, and so
Even
like
one actually.
6-1.
There's one. There's fights missing on there.
Oh,
But
all right. So Tapology's lying to us. I thought they're pretty accurate. But that's still an incredible record for an amateur. Would you say that those amateur fights kind of like lit the fire for you to become a pro and like prepared you for the pro scene?
in, like even in an amateur fight, like to get a win in an MMA fight is like a feeling like nothing else, and I think that's kind of guys hooked. Like again, I was not planning to make a career out of this. Had a few amateur fights, got a couple wins, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome. I think I want to keep doing this."
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So like not too long after your last AMI fight, you make your pro debut in October of 2014, which means next month is your 10-year anniversary as a pro MMA
Crazy.
fighter. I'm not sure if you knew that. But like so 10 years as an official pro MMA fighter for you. Do you feel like you're just now hitting your prime at 31? Or do you think there's more to grow from here? A lot of fighters around your age have told me that they're not even close to their primes yet.
It's hard to say. Like I know I feel pretty good right now. I don't think my body's breaking down at all. I don't know how I'm going to feel in a few years, but I feel great. My skill set's better than it's ever been. I train more and I train harder than I ever have. So, um, yeah, maybe I'm in my prime and maybe I'm still going up. Who knows?
So what kind of are your MMA goals now? You said earlier that you had no goals of being a pro fighter, but now you've been a pro fighter for 10 years. What kind of is like the end goal for you?
Taking it one fight at a time. I think that's the best way to do it. Like, of course, when I get the belt, yeah. Do I want to be the best fighter in the world? Sure, but like, I think I can train and get better and win fights. So like short term goal, just get the next fight and win it.
Okay. All right. So in 2019 and in 2021, you fight on Dana's Contender Series, and unfortunately, you lose both. However, both of those guys are now top guys in the UFC. Does seeing both of those guys kind of like rise to the top of their division, like light initial fires under your ass and be like, I could be there too, and kind of like puts more motivation to it?
A little bit, yeah. Like it's cool to see. Like whenever you have paths that are doing big things, it's always cool. Like I know I've been in there with those guys. I know how I felt against those guys. I've even trained with both of those. So yeah, it's sick to see them doing well. Like I've been them in their careers. Yeah, so it's just a cool thing to see.
Is the UFC still something that like you want? Like, would you still want to be a UFC fighter? I see so many fighters talking about it now, and there's one, and there's PFL, and of course there's Bellator. And what's kind of your view on like all of the promotions? Like,
Like I'm still in contract with Bellator, so it's hard to say. Like I got a couple fights left, so I got to see how that goes.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm happy with Bellator, man. They've been nothing but good to me. They've given me big fights. They've taken care of me. So like I'm happy here, and whatever happens after these next couple fights, we'll go from there.
Absolutely, and yeah, Bellator has always been. I feel like Bellator has always been a very top promotion. I used to love Bellator back in the day. I mean, they've produced so many dogs out of Bellator. So I'm a grappling nutcase, and I was going through your Tapology, and you told me that they lied to me earlier. So maybe I'm wrong on this. But you only got one submission win and 9 TKO finishes, and I'm a grappling nutcase. So now, like that submission, was it a planned submission? Did you were like, this guy's a bum on the ground, I got it done, or were you just there so you took it?
No, I'm pretty sure the fight's actually on YouTube. It's kind of funny how it happened. We were in the clinch, and I was throwing knees, and he caught my leg. I don't know if you can see me on the camera here. He caught
Yeah.
under my leg to catch my knee and kind of like threw my leg right over his neck. So I basically landed like as soon as we hit the ground, I was in a triangle choke and he tapped immediately. I can't really say that was planned, but it worked out pretty nicely.
Yeah, no, that's actually a beautiful way to get a sub. Somebody just falls right into your guard in triangle submission
And then
form. Like
taps within 1 second. Yeah, it was sick.
that means it was tight. That means it was tight in the air and on the landing. He was like, oh, I'm going out. So like, are your game plans kind of always revolve around the striking game and like finishing it with the striking?
The last fight definitely was not. I don't know if you've seen the last fight, but my last fight was like mostly grappling. I was
Yeah,
fighting
yeah,
like
yeah.
a
You were against
sort
the guy that like you could do it with though. It wasn't really like it was a good game plan to go in with the grappling against him. But I've
yeah,
seen a lot
exactly.
of your other
So
fights where you are very strike heavy.
depends on the opponent, I guess. I think I'm fairly well rounded and I can do both things. So yeah, it depends on the opponent and what the game plan is going to be.
And that definitely is something that comes out of you training at two separate gyms. Do you feel what like I'm assuming Killcliff must be better at some things than your other gym, and your other gym is better at some things than Killcliff as well. Would you say the same? Like you get different work in at both gyms?
Different work for sure. I wouldn't say they're like better at different things. I think it's just different bodies at the gyms, right? Like uh, for sparring partners, like Killcliff has tons of different guys, tons of different styles. They have like 70 pro fighters, so I can get so many different looks. Like depending on if I'm in fight camp, who my opponent is, I can find guys in the gym that are going to be able to mimic my opponent. Um, so yeah, I work like different game plans just depending on which partners I'm with.
So like, what's your favorite aspect of training? Is there like one style that you love to train the most, or are you kind of just like you'll train whatever, you just love it?
I like doing it all, man. I like getting in there and working hard. I like doing going in like Killcliff in the morning. It's like a an hour, 75 practice of just like hard rounds in the morning, whether it's sparring or wrestling or jits or whatever. We go in and we work hard for like an hour, get in, get out, and that's the kind of shit that I like.
Yeah, no, that's the perfect grinding of training. Get in, get out. Quick, easy, smooth. So now let's do a 360. Let's talk about the mullet, because you haven't had the mullet your entire career. How long did it take you to grow the mullet?
That's a good question. I was probably growing my hair for like 6 months, I guess, before I cut into a mullet, and it was like a baby at first, and now it's kind of form.
How, so I've always wondered this with the baby mullet. How do you maintain it and continue to have it grow? So like business in the front, potty in the back.
You just gotta keep trimming the and let the party grow. That's it.
Do you have I've had the same barber for about 15 years now. I'll never go to another guy that's not named Mario. Do you have the same barber that helps you keep up the mullet? Or do you, since you're in Florida and Canada, do you like have two barbers?
I've only got one barber, and it's a pretty good setup because she's my girlfriend. So she's
Ah,
with me all the time, whether I'm in Florida or Canada. I got her there to fix me up.
that's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's why you're the mullet king, because you
Yeah.
have a barber with you all the time.
Uh,
She loves
behind
you
it
and the
all.
mullet, so she's gonna take
Right.
extra care of the mullet. That all right, that's awesome. So, do you have any hobbies outside of the fight game? Anything that you're like, I'm gonna spend an entire day doing this, or like I've spoken to many people, and it's usually the same thing. MMA fighters usually are the same hobbies. It's either video games or cooking. And I just want a fighter to tell me that they have a different hobby than one of those things.
Don't really do either of those things, so it's not that. But I don't know, man. I'm a pretty boring guy. I read a lot of books. I guess that would be my hobby.
Oh, you read books. Okay, so what's like your favorite like series, or what are you reading right now?
Non-fiction stuff, like usually
Mm-hmm.
boring stuff, man. Very boring stuff.
Nah, it's not boring. Everybody has their thing. Your thing is just like words on paper. And I feel like I feel like as we're moving
What
forward in society too, where the younger generation is starting to like get away from those things. Like the only thing I read that's on paper is a Bible, and I'll never pick up an actual book. However, I I listen to audiobooks. So I don't know if that's like, do you
That's
physically
cool.
read or do you listen to audiobooks?
No, I physically read
Okay, so that's talent. You're like
paper.
dancing all
It's
over me
paper.
right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I know we ran through this one because you gotta go. So any call outs, you want to shout out your socials, anything you want to do here, now's the time to do it.
On socials at AAJ MMA. Me. Some guy just called me out. We fought back in the day, and now he wants a rematch. But just gonna figure out who that one was.
So you can't even remember this guy's name, and he's calling you out.
I remember his name, bros. So I don't want to bring it up.
No, I understand. I understand. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on, brother. I know it was quick. Hopefully, we'll get time to do a longer one in the future. Um, Make sure y'all catch me live every single day on Twitch. Brand new Swagcast episodes drop every Wednesday, anywhere you get your podcast. I'll be in Philly next Saturday doing a live stream grappling moderators. Make sure y'all tune in. I love y'all. We'll see y'all Wednesday.